I definitely do like to try a lot of different recipes, and this is actually one of my favorites. This is quite easy to throw together, although there's quite a few ingredients, but it doesn't take very long and it tastes delicious. Today on Jay's World Kitchen, I'm going to show you how to make a really basic ragu. And honestly, you can do this in no time flat. You're going to start off with about 1 tablespoon of olive oil in a nice sort of saucepan. We're just going to heat that up briefly. Now into that you're going to add a half a cup of chopped bacon. Now if you don't have bacon, you may do what I'm doing, which is using sort of the bacon bits that you can buy, and I'm using real ones, not artificial ones, but honestly either one works perfectly for this. And we're just going to fry those up very lightly and not for long at all. It's just going to take a few minutes. Now of course these bacon bits are pre-cooked, so I don't really need to cook them very long, but if you are going to use real bacon, you just want it to be cooked. You don't want it to be very crispy. And once that's nicely cooked, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of garlic, and if you know me, you know that that's probably a little more than 1 tablespoon. And literally that's just going to fry for about 30 seconds to a minute, if that. Now into this we're going to add 1 pound of ground beef, and I'm just using a lean ground beef because you don't want too much oil in there. And of course we're going to break that up so that it fries nice and evenly. And while that's frying, we're just going to add just a little pinch of salt, and that's probably about 1/4 teaspoon right there. Maybe a little less. You just want it to bring out the flavor. You definitely don't want this to become too salty. And really, when our ground beef is no longer pink and it's sort of got a nice little brown to it, we're ready for the next ingredient. And that is definitely one of my favorites, and that's caramelized onions. And I'm using the one that I did a few episodes ago, and I actually can all of this. So I put it into a jar and I pressure can it and put it in my fridge so that I always have it on hand. And this is approximately 1/4 cup of caramelized onions, and stir those in really well. And that aroma is really good. Now if you're enjoying this video, please remember to hit that like button and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, and remember to turn on the notifications so that you know when I post my next video. We're now going to add in 1 can of diced tomatoes, and as you know, I did a video on these as well, and I'll give that link at the end of this video. But a whole can just like that. And give that a good stir in. And now into that we're going to add 1/3 of a cup of lentils, which are going to give it a very nice flavor but also quite a nice texture. And just give that a good stir in. I also like that it gives it some color. And now another favorite ingredient of mine is red wine, and we're going to add in 1/3 of a cup. Next we're going to add in a half a cup of water and a tablespoon of dried oregano. That's already smelling really good. And now into that I'm going to add approximately 1/4 cup of fresh basil, and my basil plants are really coming up beautifully and giving me some great leaves here, and I just sort of take a bunch and just tear them in there. Really doesn't have to be fancy, and it certainly does not have to be perfect. And stir those in. Now into this we're going to now add finally 1/4 teaspoon of ground pepper, and of course you can use fresh ground pepper if you prefer. That's quite okay. Stir that in, and then we're going to taste the sauce because we want to find out how salty it is, because we may want to add a little bit more salt. It tastes very good, but this one does need a little bit more salt. So I'm going to add probably about 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt in there, just to really bring out the flavor. And now you're going to let that come up to a boil and you're going to simmer it for 20 minutes. And while that's simmering, I'd like to give a shout out to all of my supporters on Patreon. Without their financial support, this channel would absolutely not be possible. If you'd like to find out more about Patreon or how you can financially support this channel, please click on the Patreon link down below in the comments section. Now this smells absolutely amazing. Now I'm serving it on a bed of rice, but of course you can have it just as it is. You can also serve it on pasta and things like that. So I just really like rice, and I like rice with this. And I've just topped it with a nice little bit of grated cheddar cheese. But I'm really excited to give this a try. What I really like about this, of course, is the tomato. Definitely the boldest flavor in there. You can just taste a hint of that oregano, and I really like the texture of the lentils in there because they're just got a slight little crunch to them, but it's very slight and they break up very easily. This is just such a quick, easy, and absolutely delicious meal. You have to try this, and if you do, I'd love to hear from you in the comment section below how this turned out for you. Now, if you'd like to see some more of my content, you can follow me on all of my social media, and those links are down below in the comment section. If you would like to try my diced tomatoes recipe, you can find that link right here. And if you'd like to try my caramelized onions that I used in this recipe, you can find that right here. And if you'd like to try some of my other main course meals, you can find that playlist right here. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, happy eating.